What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Goddess Z, and I'm here to bring another podcast episode to you guys. And I hope everybody has been taking care of themselves, mind, body, and spirit, because that is what it's all about. When any one of those things are out of alignment, then we are out of balance, and we don't want that, okay? And so I hope that, you guys have been surviving through the Mercury retrograde as well as the Lionsgate portal. I hope you're able to manifest some amazing things. I talked about that on some of my social media posts. And so, before I continue to get started and get into it, like your girl has the tendency to do, I want to go ahead and get some business out of the way so that people can know where to find me. So, first and foremost, if you are new to this podcast, welcome, welcome. Be sure to hit that follow, hit that subscribe button wherever you are listening in your respective platforms. And if you are coming welcome back, family. It is good to have you back. Be sure to check out that description, guys, because there's always updated information about what is going to be going on, what is happening in the land of holistic and spiritual AF. And there's lots of movements and lots of growth happening. So you can follow me everywhere pretty much at holistic and spiritual AF. That is and spelled out. That's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Substack. I'm trying to think if I'm leaving anything out. As well as there's been some changes to the podcast episodes. So a lot of podcast episodes are me sharing my personal experience and my story and, my spiritual journey and things like that. But lately I have started to incorporate having guests on the show so that they can also share with us their experience and their wisdom in their different respective lanes as to what it is, the work that they're doing, the spiritual work that they're doing, so that we can help to expand more awareness and consciousness out to the community. Okay, so that's the main purpose of that. And then also, I'm going to be having a Raise Your Frequency to Abundance masterclass that's going to be coming up on Wednesday, September the 25th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll have all that information down in the description and all over those different social media platforms you can find me. All right, so today's episode is actually just going to be me today. I'm just kind of doing a little bonus episode or just, a singular solo episode like we started out. And today we're going to be talking about the spiritual life is a lonely life. And that is definitely true, or I have found to be true in my personal experience. And most of my friends that are like truly walking the path and have been walking the path for like, a long time, for like decades, they have very few friends. They have lots of associates, but they have very few people in their inner circle. And even our relationship is like we may talk to each other a couple times a year. We're not like really up under each other because everybody is going through their spiritual journey. And it as the more you grow and the more you evolve on your spiritual journey, you kind of leave some people hanging. It doesn't mean that you think you're better than them. It just means that you're resonating and you are vibrating at a higher frequency that doesn't tend to do too well with low level kind of 3D, low vibrational stuff on a regular basis. Now, that does not mean that we don't have to interact with the world, go to the grocery store, go to work, go do all those mundane, 3D activities, or even dealing with family, who could care less about a lot of the stuff that we're doing. It just means that when we have the time, what we choose to do with our time is different. And a lot of times that has us alone. And so I was kind of inspired to do this because I don't know if it was Instagram or TikTok, but this guy, he hit it right on the head. And I think a lot of times throughout my journey, I have gone back and forth with, I'm lonely, I don't have any friends, or people don't understand me. And, I go into places and people, they're jealous, they're haters, they're like, oh, they'll start talking bad mouth of me and they think that whatever, they think that I think I'm better than them. And so I came across this video and it summed it up perfectly, which basically it says when you vibrate at a higher frequency, when your consciousness is raised to a certain level, then people will either gravitate to you or get away from you. And you're going to meet two different types of people. Either you're going to meet people that you inspire. So people are inspired by you, they're motivated, they're uplifted, they want to learn from you, they believe in you, they support you. And then you'll also meet people who are resentful, AKA haters, and these people will try to do what it is that you're doing, but not be able to do it because they lack the inner reserves and the inner resources that you have inside of you. It's not to say that they don't have it. They may not have it yet because they haven't done any work. Okay. So you take somebody that's been on their spiritual journey for 2 decades, and then all of a sudden somebody watches a video or reads a book, and now they think they can go out and teach something, and they're mad because it won't work, or they don't have the light that you have inside of you that they can just magnetically attract people to them because, real recognizes real and game recognizes game. So, a lot of times these people will then begin to be resentful, which is a nice way of saying a hater, because they can't do what you're doing. And so they're jealous, but secretly they admire you. And that was, to me, that was everything, because it was like, okay, there you go. At the end of the day, both groups of people admire you. And it doesn't mean that you're walking around arrogant and egoist. It means that you're vibrating at a frequency, that your light is emitting and transmitting this frequency that's in alignment with the ideals of what other people are trying to achieve and attain. And so as a result, because that energy is so powerful and that frequency is not a frequency that the average person is on, um, we can be misunderstood a lot. We can be misunderstood. I find myself sometimes, I think my favorite times are when I'm able to connect with other spiritual people, other conscious individuals who are high vibratory, because I can take the conversation outside off the planet. You know what I'm saying? I can take the conversation metaphysical. We could talk about different dimensional realities. People are not like looking at you like, what are you talking about? They can push it back with their knowledge and their expertise, and it's a higher vibratory conversation that a lot of times I don't get to have. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing regular mundane, just kind of squeezing, fitting in the life, and I have to have sometimes baseless conversations with people just to kind of get by. And so when I'm able to connect with my tribe, then I feel like invigorated, or if I go to a workshop or a class or something and it's of like-minded individuals, then, I feel invigorated. I feel empowered. I feel recharged. But without that, in order for me to maintain that, that requires that I have to live a life that doesn't include a lot of people. And I've learned to, or I'm learning, put it that way. It's taken me a while, but I'm finally getting to the place where I'm like, okay, F it. I'm like, this is what it is. This is the way that it's always been for me. People have always either been inspired or people have been haters. And I've had a lot of haters along the way. And, I just came to the realization that like anything that you're doing, if you don't have people that are hating on you, then you must not be doing it right. Like in order for you to be vibrating at a certain frequency and people are hating on you, you're doing something right. And a lot of times those people are not your people anyway. I think I said that before, but the people who support you and people who lift you up, a lot of times these are strangers. Most of the times these are strangers. And I've also heard this too. Your family and people that are close to you and people that know you are not going to support you like that until after you have already achieved a certain level of success. Once you achieve that level of success, then those people come out of the woodworks and they're like, oh, I knew you could do it. I always believed in you. And that's not true. And it's just because I think a lot of times they cannot get out of their minds who we used to be along the journey as we were growing, as we were elevating. And so a lot of people want to keep us in a box. They want to keep us on a certain level because that's the level that they were on when they met you, and that's the level that they're still on. And so the people that are close to us and that know us and possibly even know more about who we used to be are going to be least likely to be your supporters. So that cuts out a group of people right there. And then, of course, if you're dealing with people at work, most people are not like mind. Okay. So you can go in and function and like do the job, but like they're not like mind, higher vibratory conscious people. So you keep it in a box at work. And then what does that leave? If you don't go to church, which I don't, and I never have, then you have to go find a spiritual community. And I remember along my journey, I always wanted and I craved to like be a part of a community. Craved like being around like-minded individuals, and I would go to these different groups and I would get what I needed to get out of there. And then I remember my ancestors being like, okay, it's time to move on. You got what you needed from that. Now you got it inside of you. Keep it moving. Don't get too caught up with being in a church-like structure. Now, this was for me. I don't know about everybody else. And I would be like, well, damn, I'm trying to make friends. I'm trying to this, I'm trying to that. And my ancestors were like, we need you to go in and get what you need to get from each of these respective places and then carry that with you and begin to embody that, begin to live that, and go on to the next phase of the journey. And so that's how it always was. I would have seasons with these people and these different groups, and it would never turn into anything long lasting. I would have like maybe one or two people out of each group of people that were actually really walking the walk. And some of them we're still friends today. But like I said, we don't talk to each other but maybe like two, three times a year. So, I find myself sometimes being like, I'm lonely, I'm lonely. But recently, I just, like I said, I came to the realization, love, this is how it's always been. If this is what it's going to be, I'm not going to stop living my life and enjoying life because I'm always waiting on a bestie and a BFF, because that's just not the way that my life is structured. And the more that I grow, the higher my consciousness is raised, the less likely of it happening it is. And so just recently, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to start doing stuff myself, because I used to always be the type of person that was like, oh, I want to go here and trying to see if so and so want to go. And guess what? A lot of them wasn't into what I was into. I like to go to into nature. I like to go to trails. I like to read books. I like to go to writing circles. I like to go to plant-based festivals and stuff. And not everybody is on that frequency, and that's okay. Not everybody's with that. A lot of times people want to do what the mainstream is doing, and that ain't never really been me. Like when a movie comes out, I'm always like the last one catching it, like the last bit, or like 2, 3 years later, maybe, that's just never been me. And so I like to do camping, bougie camping though. We have to have facilities. There has to be like, I got to be able to charge my phone. I gotta have like a flushing toilet and some running shower water, like so I do like to do that though, to be able to get that peace and connect with nature. And a lot of people ain't on that. So just recently I decided that I'm going to start doing those things. And there's a park in Orlando that I saw on TikTok, and I was like, I'm doing that. I'm doing that. So I'm getting excited about the next phase of my journey, which is connecting with other spiritualists and creating this community of like-minded individuals along the path, so that I am expanding that. But I think all spiritualists would agree that we're not really supposed to be all clicked up like that. It's not like that. We come together, we create something, and then we go off on our respective individual paths. And so that's where I'm at today. I'm recognizing that, and I'm also recognizing that a big part of my purpose, as well as long-term goals that is coming to fruition now, is to bring together community, bring together a group of us so that we can kind of spread the word and spread the consciousness across the planet. And that's a big part of the reason why I started incorporating having guests on the podcast, because that's where we are. This planet needs healing. I'm not the only person that can do it. I stay in my respective lane. I help people with generational trauma, healing old wounds, to, healing their frequency inside of their DNA, healing the next generation so that we can have a better tomorrow and planet for humanity. So I stay in my lane with what I do, but there's other people out there doing amazing work. There's other people that are working with womb healing. There's other people that are working with metaphysics, just lots of different things. And so I'm looking really forward to bringing that together for you guys, and this community, so that we can keep the holistic and spiritual AF stuff going. And of course, I'll still be popping in to kind of, drop what's on my heart, drop what's on my mind and my spirit, and downloads and things like that. But I just wanted to come in and check in with you guys, because it'll be a while before I pop back in, just me. But if you're enjoying these episodes, make sure that you go ahead and follow and subscribe once again. Be sure to comment as well. I love getting you guys' introspective points of view. So you can comment on YouTube. You can also comment on Substack as well, because I put the podcast up in there. And that is it, guys. Until the next episode. Peace.